Ahoy me hearties, in this video I'll be showing ye a pure 12 swashbuckler rogue build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. Now today is actually International Talk Like a Pirate Day, Arrr, so this is the perfect time. Also I'll be using the CL Pirate Queen gear for the appearance of this, but we'll be using base game armor. So with this we'll be starting with the rogue, taking it all the way up to level 12. I've been doing all the different classes in the game. The swashbuckler is best utilized around a dexterity based build. Now it actually does require a bit of charisma, as funny as it is, to be able to do its dirty tricks. Now, I'd recommend going with a stat spread of 16 dexterity, 16 constitution, and 14 charisma. You can swap charisma with constitution if you're the face of the party, so it just depends entirely on that. Make sure you have proficiency in stealth, and if you have someone else doing sleight of hand, you can put up those points into persuasion instead, but I think that works well. Level 2 gives us our very powerful bonus action, hide, dash, and disengage. This is nice because this lets us get into the fight a little bit quicker using the bonus action dash. Into level 3, we get to take these swashbuckler. So with this, whenever you attack a target, you can't get hit with an opportunity attack afterwards. In addition to this, you also get the rakish audacity, gives you a +2 to your initiative, and this scales up with your rogue level. And you no longer need advantage to trigger sneak attack as long as you are within 1.5 meters of the target and don't have disadvantage. The rakish sneak attacks are very nice. So we'll roll with this here. Now level 4 is when we get a lot of our abilities. We get the dirty trick, flick of the wrist, look at the flick of the wrist. This is actually really good because with this weapon, it's just a weapon attack basically as a bonus action. It can possibly disarm the target, which is extremely good. We also get the dirty trick, vicious mockery, which is a bonus action, vicious mockery, giving disadvantage on attack roll. Huge, and it's got a range of 18 meters. Then we also got the dirty trick sand toss. If you got pocket sand, or I'm gonna throw some dirt in your eye, Spider-Man style. Yeah, this is a great one, possibly blinding the target. This requires a dexterity save, or this one requires you to have a high dexterity, and these two use your charisma. So vicious mockery and the flick of the wrist using charisma, and the dirty trick sand toss being dexterity based. Level 4 also means we get to take another feat, or our first feat, I should say. Savage Attacker is not a bad choice because it'll reroll your damage die. I do think possibly the best choice is to just go with an increase to your dexterity, as it's going to give you initiative, armor class, and better attack rolls. We could also go with the alert feat for the +5 to initiative. Never a bad choice, but we're going to go with the dexterity improvement just because having a higher dex and armor class is really good. If you use the Hag's Hair, you could take your dex to 17 to start and boost up to 20 on your first level 4 or your level 4 feat. So that's another choice if you have the Hag's Hair dexterity. Level 5 gives us the uncanny dodge. When an attack hits you, you only take half of physical damage. That's great. Further reducing the amount of damage that will be taken is really, really nice. Level 6 gives us a choice of skill proficiencies. Deception and Intimidation. If you're going with more of a good aligned playthrough, you won't use Intimidation as much, so then you can put those points into your acrobatics to keep you from being shoved, which is always preferable because getting shoved to your death sucks, and it happens a lot in Honor mode. Level 7 gives us Evasion. This is great for spells like Fireball and Lightning Bolt, anything that requires a dexterity save. If we save on it, we now take no damage instead of half damage, and if we fail the save, we take half damage. So just furthering the amount of damage we'll be not taking, basically halves all damage, and then gives you basically no damage if you succeed on the save. Level 8 is just basically giving you your acrobatics and deception. We also get to take a feat here, which, again, alert and ability score improvement. Even defensive duelist, if you're using a finesse weapon, you can use a reaction, add your proficiency bonus to your armor class. That's a +4 to your attack, or to your armor class. That can be pretty nice, especially since we'll be using finesse weapons most likely. So that is a good choice too. And also, if you want to use hand crossbow, sharpshooter's never a bad choice either. But we're just going to stick, I think, ability score improvement on dex. If you've already done that, the alert feat. And if you haven't done that, the defensive duelist is a good choice. Or dual wielder. You could go with the dual wielding, which works well too. Level 9 gives us Panache. This is not really that great, but roll a persuasion check to beguile a humanoid who must contest it with an insight check. Enemies who fail get disadvantage, and others who fail become charmed. You're going to see this is not really that useful, but it's there. Level 10 gives us our extra feat, because the rogue gets an extra feat. At this point, I would actually say that going with defensive duelist, or I'm going to go with alert, but defensive duelist can be really nice too. +5 to initiative means we're going first. Rakish audacity also, yeah, we're definitely going first. Reliable talent, when you make an ability check with a skill you're proficient in, the lowest you can roll is a 10. That's great, so you're less likely to fail. Massive. And level 12, final feat. This is when we can take the defensive duelist whenever we're wielding a finesse weapon, and we get to add our proficiency bonus to our armor class. So that nice +4 to our armor class, that's pretty great. So that can keep you alive a lot better. As mentioned, Savage Attacker can be nice, but we only get to make one melee attack per turn, so that's kind of sucky. Now, as far as gear options go, there's a few really good ones. Late game, the Mask of Soul Perception gives bonus to our attack rolls, means we're more likely to hit. Perception checks are great too. Early game, however, Haste Helmet, you can get this right at the start of the game. This is extremely useful because it gives you more movement speed, and everyone can really benefit from that. Now, the Rogue is kind of weird where there's not a lot of gear that actually fits it very well. The Scabby Pugilist Circlet can work as well. Deathstalker Mantle makes the most sense for cloaks, but if you don't have this, if you're not the Dark Urge, use the Cloak of Protection for the +1 armor class. We also got the Ballast Armor. This is extremely broken, late game item. So use your best available light armor at the start of the game. That's the only really armor proficiency that we get. So like the armor that you get from Minthara can work well too. This will give you the ability to apply vulnerability to piercing damage so that we can do double damage with our stabbing attacks, which is crazy because with the Crimson Mischief, it gives us a +7 piercing damage, which then turns to +14 when we attack with advantage, which is crazy. Now, we also got the Gloves of the Balanced Hand, which will add our offhand attack, or ability modifier to the damage of the attack. So if we went with something else, that you see there, just completely drops the amount of damage that we're capable of doing. So this is one that we definitely want to have if we're going to be using 2-weapon fighting. Although adding the Helldust Gloves works really well too, because this adds additional damage. And even the Dark Justiciar Gauntlets can work well, because they also give you a bonus action with Beckoning Darkness, which can be kind of nice. So yeah, extra damage, not a bad choice either. It just depends what your rest of your team's using. Now, I also have the Disintegrating Nightwalkers because we got the bonus action teleport with that, which is really nice. Although, if you want to go more into the armor class, you could just use the Evasive Shoes or the Boots of Stormy Clamor. I'm just going to use the Disintegrating Nightwalkers because it prevents us from getting entangled or ensnared. Now, the Ring of Shadows is actually a really interesting one because this gives us Pass Without a Trace, which is a +10 to stealth checks. Huge. And then if you have someone cast Greater Invisibility on yourself utilizing this ring, you basically are impossible to see unless you fail the checks. And Greater Invisibility has a scaling upwards check, so you can continually attack from shadows, which is huge. The Ring of Shadows is great, but the Eversight Ring is a bit better. The reason being, we're able to set up darkness and hide out in, or you have a team member shoot an arrow and then there's darkness for you to hide out in. This is really useful. Cannot be blind. It's such a good condition, and it fits perfectly with a rogue who should be attacking from the shadows, which you'll see. I also get the Ring of Protection here, giving us a +1 armor class. You can use the Killer Sweetheart for the free crit as well. Now, I'm using Orin's Daggers, but earlier game, the Cold Snap is great because it gives you armor class +1 in the offhand. So you can put this in the offhand, and then you can put a different weapon in your main hand. Dolar Amaris is great too for the increased critical hit damage by 7, which is doubled. The first weapon that you can get in the, or not the first, but one of the early game weapons that works very well is the Knife of the Undermounted King. The short sword is extremely powerful, piercing damage. So you can use that instead. I'm going to use Orin's Daggers because this build needs all the help that it can get. The Stillmaker is another decent dagger here, which gives you a hold person spell, which can be nice. But again, yeah, this class needs all the help we can get. So we're going to use the Crimson Mischief here, which gives additional 7 damage. And then we also do additional 1d4 piercing against targets with less than half their health left. And this piercing damage is all doubled. Normally, you'd put the Blade of the First Blood or Orin's Dagger in the main hand because this gives vulnerability to piercing damage on the first attack. But we give that with our armor here. So putting this in the offhand gives us a riposte attack so we can weaponize our reaction. And it also can apply True Strike. And it gives us a +1 armor class. So this makes us pretty strong. Also, the Hellrider Longbow gives us a +3 to our initiative. This means that we can go first because we got everything that boosts our initiative pretty much. The Ballast Armor, the Mask of Soul Perception, Hellrider Longbow, the Alert Feat, the Rakish Audacity, or the Swashbuckler giving that bonus to initiative. So we'll see what we roll. Yeah, we rolled a 22 initiative. That is nuts. So yeah, we're going first. Now, if you have another teammate here, they can do something special, using an Arrow of Darkness to set up an ability for us to hide out in. This gives us advantage even though we don't really need it, but that advantage is also nice because it's going to give us additional damage on our attack. Now our sneak attacks are going to do a lot of damage here, you can see, and these targets are all blinded, so this is perfect. And we can go in for our sneak attack here, Rakish sneak attack, 99% hit chance, they're blinded. I don't need to use it on this target. I'm probably better off using it on a target that's, yeah, we'll just use it on this one with full health here because this is likely to take them out. Don't even need to reel the critical hit. 68 damage on that is crazy. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now we're invisible too, so this gives us advantage on our next attack, which is crazy. We have the unfortunate ability, or we unfortunately don't really have that many good options because we can only attack once per turn. An Arrow of Many Targets can be good if we need to clear out a bunch of targets all at once. Like this can rip through. It took out one target, didn't really do a whole lot of damage, but that's fine. What we can then follow up with is the Flick of the Wrist, which it's basically a free attack. So when using this target here and go ahead, Flick of the Wrist, disarming them, I'll also do the crit because that'll be enough to take them out. Boom, good. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have that many attacks. We can only attack once per action, so that kind of, it does cripple us a bit, unfortunately. But if you wanted to, you could add in the Gloom Stalker Ranger 5 levels. I just want to do a pure class build because the sneak attack damage 66 is nice. And boom, here's where we can actually use our True Strike Riposte, which is really good. Again, anytime you can weaponize your reaction, this is great. It turns the action economy your way because that just gives us a free attack that does a lot of damage. And that's really great because we need any extra health that we can get. We have a prime target here that just wandered right up. Anyone that has got high health is a menace because, or is great for us because we got this here, which is upwards of 66 damage. But the thing is, this is being doubled. Most of the damage, not the necrotic or fire. So when we go ahead with this attack, we're going to get likely one-shot them. 66 damage on the main attack plus 14. That's crazy. So that extra 14 comes from having the advantage in that dagger plus having the ballast armor applied. So I have haste on my character so I can attack twice. Another little pro tip is if you play as a high elf, you can take Booming Blade. So you can do Booming Blade and then also your sneak attacks, which is really great. The bonus action True Strike's nice too from this dagger because this allows you to actually just do a bonus action attack and then give yourself the advantage for the extra damage. Now, I'm just going to go with a regular old weapon attack here against this target, which go to do... Oh, nice. I didn't mean to use my bonus action there. Always turn off your dual wielding, but that was enough to take them out. Now, we just want to run back to our little darkness bucket. And it's back to our turn. So, what we can do is we can hit him with a Vicious Mockery. We're right up in his face. This might fail and not actually take him out, but I'm going to try it anyways. Yeah, he saved on it, unfortunately. That was not what we wanted, but I can always just go ahead with just a normal attack to take him out. This turns us invisible so that I can go ahead and do a rakish sneak attack, which we'd already would have, but this gives the extra damage on it. The plus 14 damage is really nice, 62 on the attack. So yeah, that is a Swashbuckler Rogue build in Baldur's Gate 3. You really got to use that sneak attack. I would recommend actually mixing in 5 levels of the Gloom, Stalker, Ranger. This gives you the 2 attacks, and they also get a lot of extra fun things like Misty Step and Fog Cloud, so you get a lot more skills. Here, the only really benefit you get is from taking this is 1 extra feat, and on top of that, you also get the ability to do a higher damage sneak attack, which I don't think is worth it. It's probably best to multi-class, but that's just my 2 cents. I wanted to cover this anyways because people have been asking for level 12 builds, and here's a Swashbuckler one on Pirate Day. So let me know your favorite thing about this build in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below, and I hope you have a great day.